He told her to run. That wasn't the plan. They had been plotting this day for over a year. Every detail was set and looked over, but because of one human act, the plan had veered off course. Dylan was born on September 11th, 1981, to his parents, Thomas and Susan. He grew up in a Lutheran household and was encouraged by his parents to attend religious confirmation courses with his older brother. Dylan's childhood was generally uneventful until his freshman year of high school, when he met Eric, who would soon become one of his closest friends. The power of influence is often overlooked. It usually only applies to surface-level ideas and actions, like the persuasion of advertisements and biases held by family members. However, when influence begins to run deeper, the effects can be catastrophic. Dylan and Eric quickly bonded over their love of technology, and the two boys became key members of their school's theater program by assisting and managing backstage tech. While Dylan had always had a wide variety of acquaintances, Eric was a social outcast. Acting with kindness, and what some believe was a desire of close companionship he had not found elsewhere, Dylan abandoned his role in the social hierarchy and joined Eric in his isolationism. Shortly after his decision to follow Eric, Dylan became extremely depressed. His journey through depression was recorded in various pieces of writing. Many entries describe his feelings of becoming a social outcast. In one of the first pieces of his writing, Dylan listed the reasons for his lonesome depression.
I want to die really bad right now. Let's see what I have that's good. A nice family, a good house, food, a couple of good friends, and some possessions. What's bad? No girls, friends, or girlfriends. No other friends except a few. Nobody accepting me even though I want to be accepted. Me doing badly, being intimidated in any and all sports. Me looking weird and acting shy. Big problem. Me getting bad grades, having no ambition of life. That's the big shit.
His depression and flirtation with suicide slowly spiraled into feelings of resentment and paranoia towards those around him.
I'm an outcast, and everyone is conspiring against me.
Dylan's feelings were not just limited to pain and depression. Like any normal teenage boy, Dylan craved the intimacy of a relationship. In an earlier journal entry, Dylan claimed he found the love of his life.
I think of her every second of every day. I want to be with her. I imagine me and her doing things together. The sound of her laugh. I picture her face. I love her. If soulmates exist, then I think I found mine. I hope she likes techno.
His giddy words and drawings expressed his desire for human companionship, someone beyond Eric. His personal journal was full of her name, a name now unknown due to governmental restrictions.
She, in reality, doesn't give a good fuck about me. She doesn't even know me. I have no happiness, no ambitions, no friends, and no love. Funny how I've been thinking about her over the last few days, giving myself fake realities that she, others might have liked me just a bit. My bad. I have always been hated by everyone and everything, just never aware.
The love for her turned into a hate for himself. Shortly after his emotional high, Dylan fell further into the desolate world of his depression due to the rejection of his romantic conquest. His thoughts of suicide became less of a thought and more of a planned-out reality. Codependence is a funny thing. The process derives from more than just a conscious desire for companionship. It leads with a deeper emotion. In Dylan's case, his loss of social status and romance left him broken. His subconscious fix became Eric. There's a thing called the Goldilocks condition. If you're at all familiar with the tale of Goldilocks, I'm sure this theory will be very easy to understand. However, I'll explain it anyway. The Goldilocks condition is a theory common in the study of history. It says that every so often microscopic pieces of a much larger puzzle come together to complete a story, a plan, an idea. Just like the perfect bowl of porridge, the perfect bed, the perfect chair, Eric and Dylan became the perfect pair. With the deterioration of Dylan's mind escalating, Eric found his vantage point. and together the two became an unyielding storm. While the two boys became close friends and confidants, they were drastically different. Dylan was the pure definition of human. His parabola of emotions and rash ideas contrasted sharply against the disturbed mind of Eric. Eric was a textbook psychopath. He saw himself as greater, smarter, more than. The emotive energy from Dylan was fuel to Eric's building fire. Eric's own journal expressed his ideas of mass destruction and his idea of natural selection due to his own standards. Dylan became just another pawn in his game, and the idea of influence came full circle. The reckless ideas of Eric slowly but surely became mirrored in Dylan's actions. In January of 1998, the two boys robbed a van full of computers. They were sentenced to serve in a disciplinary program created by the juvenile system. The boys got released early for good behavior. Their letters of apology were full of false remorse, and later sections of Eric's writing revealed his true feelings.
Isn't America supposed to be the land of the free? How come, if I'm free, I can't deprive some fucking dumb shit from his possessions if he leaves them sitting in the front seat of his fucking van in plain sight in the middle of fucking nowhere on a fry fucking day night? Natural selection. Fucker should be shot.
I have been caught for the crimes I committed, and I want to go to a new existence. You know what I mean. Suicide. I have nothing to live for, and I won't be able to survive in this world after this legal conviction.
After the theft, Dylan slowly began to adopt the ideology that his record was stained, and that he had no future left in life with his story spoiled with a criminal charge. He convinced himself that he had no purpose in life, and that his only pathway was death by his own hands. Dylan's suicidal and self-deprecating tendencies weren't just caused due to his past criminal incidents. They also resided on a new development in his and Eric's minds. They both believed that they were practically gods, physically, mentally, evolutionarily better than the rest of humanity. They hated every minute of their lives because they felt that they knew too much and needed to be released from this world. Dylan described a longing for ignorance, touching on the highly discussed topic of whether ignorance truly is bliss. In the minds of these two teens, it was.
I long for no awareness, just pure bliss, unexplainable bliss. The only challenges are no challenge, and then, bam, realization sets in. The world is the greatest punishment, life.
One of Eric's last journal entries read,
I hate you people for leaving me out of so many fun things. And no, don't say, well, that's your fault, because it isn't. You people had my phone number. And I asked and all, but no, don't let the weird-looking Eric kid come along.
Dylan and Eric had been heavily bullied. We hear the horror stories of bullying every day. What these boys went through was far beyond the normal. Far beyond the name-calling and playful tripping in hallways. Cups of fecal matter were thrown at them. People surrounded them and doused their clothes in ketchup. The onlooking teachers did nothing. People laughed at them, called them faggots, and the two couldn't fight back. They wore the ketchup all day. They went home in it. Anyone would get fed up after a while. However, the revenge these boys planned was far beyond what some would imagine. Eric and Dylan had had enough of their lives. The constant harassment, bullying, the depression, and the self-harm, along with the usual stresses and conflicts of being a high schooler. One day they finally said, enough is enough. The duo began to sketch out rough plans in their journals, clothing concepts, building plans, and tactical strategies, and soon enough a concrete plan began to form. As time went on, they stacked on supplies, built homemade equipment, and began to make their crude drawings a reality.
Nobody will help me, only exist with me if it suits them. I helped, why can't they? My friend will get me a gun. I'll go on my killing spree against anyone I want.
On April 20th, 1999, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold shot and killed 12 students and one teacher, and then themselves at Columbine High School. He told her to run. That wasn't the plan. They'd been plotting this day for over a year. Every detail was set and looked over, but because of one human act, the plan had veered off course. While Eric had begun this journey with the robotic intentions of mass destruction and immense influence over America, Dylan had always been human. His intentions were purely driven by rage and depression. When he saw her, the whirlwind subsided for just a moment. He told his unrequited love to run. Or at least, I would imagine so. In the end, Eric achieved his goals. The Columbine shooting became a stain in history that bled into the future. Not only were new laws and regulations put forth in schools across America, but future shooters became influenced by Eric and Dylan's lasting legacy. In history, there is no good or evil. While many see Dylan Klebold as a monster, he was just as human as you and me. Dylan had the hopes of studying computer technology at Arizona University, where he had gotten graciously accepted for his impressive technological knowledge. He threw it all away because of a single influencer. Today, students and teachers are taught to be afraid for the potential of shootings. This concern was something unheard of before 1999. In the end, Eric Harris got what he wanted. He influenced American society to be more afraid, and he gained fame and influence from his destructive actions. Since the Columbine shooting in 1999, there have been over 270 school shootings. 75 of those shooters have directly referenced Eric Harris and the Columbine shooting as their inspiration. However, despite the onslaught of school shootings, in the 12 months following the Columbine tragedy, lawmakers proposed more than 800 new bills having to do with gun regulation. History is full of cause and effect. As Sir Isaac Newton put it, for every action in nature, there is an equal and opposite reaction. While some like to focus on the negative, we must learn to move forward and learn from others' mistakes and misfortunes. We are the generation to change the future, not to hinder it.
Good things turn bad. Bad things become good. We, the people on Earth, see it as a battle we can win. If we looked at history, maybe we could see what happens next.